Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.
But long we start trying to raise up as a people and say, listen, why is it racist, like you just said, to want to come together and build on our own? They don't like that. Why? Because in their minds and the people that run the world, they know that we truly are the children of God. They're not. And once we come together as a body and be in the mindset of God, which is the Bible, we can do wondrous things. And that's what we're doing right now. That's why you see these men out here now. All of us is in the streets like niggas. Running around, baby mamas, all that mess. We heard the word, woke up, like, no, what we doing is madness. What's the future of what we doing? You gotta ask yourself, you about to have a baby. I don't know if you got kids or not. Y'all got boyfriend, husband?
I'm straight on all that. My son is 14, he'll 6. I'm fine.
Okay, well, yeah, but the thing is, I understand why you say you're fine, because look at the pickings you got out here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no good pickings out here. Ain't nobody say, listen, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm gonna be your husband, let's do this thing together and be in righteousness. Right. And you ain't got to worry about having doubts in his mind, oh, he about to run off and do this, or as soon as he leave my sight, he gonna do this. Then she get a phone call, now both of y'all pregnant at the same time. From some other chick. That's not righteousness. You have nothing to pay from, but we gotta realize that that's a curse. You guys do your nationality according to the Bible?
And he was just telling us good American blacks, and then like these Benjamin, Haitians, Levi.
Right, so according to God, when he created the nations, there was 18 nations he created in the Bible. They all have a name. Israel is one of the nations he created. And then these are the 12 tribes under the nation of Israel. Israel in the Bible is the ones he chose to be his only people. Right? Only Israel, not the other nations. So what we try to come out here and do is identify what God is telling us in the Bible that we lost. We don't know it. We lost it in slavery. Right? We had these names when we came out the boats. But then they took us and changed our names. Why? They didn't just change our names, they changed their names. And this is how we figured out we was Israel, because we had to go by the curses of the Bible to be able to identify people who are identifiable in this times. Because all we know is what? African American, blacks.
You know what? And I always questioned their Jesus, how he was beaten and whipped and things of that nature. But our people was like most of the only people that went through that. So I always questioned that. I'm trying to reconcile with that. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense for these people to come out of the concubines, right? And then the mom and the cartoons.
They came out the Caucasus Monster of Georgia, Russia.
Right. So I was always trying to figure that out. Like, okay, so they come to these mountains and they started ruling nations, but it was like death and murder and like rape. And now we supposed to praise the Jesus that's supposed to be the white. And how were you hiding out in like the land of the mountains if you're so-called this Caucasian? You cannot hide. You will stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, and the only people that really been beaten and they were treated as a slave and raped were our people. There were other people, but like where he was running to didn't make sense to me.
And that's what we try to tell you, because you read it, but then you're going to ask a pastor, he'll tell you, don't worry about it. It meant this, yeah, they get upset.
And it's like,
because you're messing with their money.
Right.
Their money's all entitled. So if they come teaching a different doctrine that'll wake you up, nobody's going to want to be in church trying to give them money, so they can't go to the banks and say, I need $100,000 to build a church. You know what I'm saying? They'll say, no, you're not pushing the doctrine we want you to push to keep the people stupid. Right? The thing is, we have to wake up. Read that.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18.
Read.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
This is all the congregation of Israel. Remember, y'all heard about the story about the Red Sea, right?
Yeah.
And y'all see how Moses got the people. He said, my people go, and they walked to the Red Sea. So now when they're in the wilderness over on the other side of the Jordan, he told them this.
And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
You got to realize you got over 600,000 people coming out of Egypt. Right? And so now they all scrambling, trying to get there, and they're all in the wilderness right now. So Moses had to get everybody together and say, okay, let's figure out who was who. Let's figure out which tribe, what people are from which tribe. How are we going to figure that out? He said, by the house of their father. That's why we said, whoever your father is, that's who you are. It has nothing to do with the mother. That's the way God set it up. So that way we know our lineage, which is a good thing. Especially nowadays in Grand Rapids, we have a lot of people who are having mixed relationships. And they might have a Judite father, and an Edomite mother. That child is still Israel.
My son that's Puerto Rican, that's why.
Right, but even with the Puerto Rican, because remember,
I know.
so it doesn't, so he's covered. Well, so he's got to figure out who his father is, and that's who he is. So he's an Israelite by nature too. And that's why we try to say, okay, if he decided how about your father, let's see how we know he is real quick. Let me show you. Deuteronomy 28.
I don't date nothing but my kind.
And that's a good thing. And you thank the Lord that was in your spirit to stay that way. Because some sisters, they get frustrated with what's going on with our people in marriage today, they walk away. They say, I don't even want to do it. I'll go to another nation because I'm getting tired of my own treat me like this. Especially because a lot of sisters...
That's how I feel right now.
Right. Because sisters, think about this. Y'all don't grow up, most of y'all don't grow up being bad. Sometimes you get a lot of in the world, a good girl going bad, because of the relationship they get into, they end up being bitter. They end up being shut down, they end up being locked down, and then by the time the world did so much to them, they become players themselves, or they just shut down from period, or they go to a different nation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of times we tell y'all sisters, when it comes to these men, decisions, and babies, we do it now. Wait, take your time, get to know the person mentally first. Don't do sex. Because sex causes judgment. You know what I'm saying? And then 2 months later, you find out he's horrible, he's a mean guy, but you didn't already gave it up. The world teaches us backwards. God says no, prove them first, then marry. The world says no, have sex first, and then we figure out we get along. Wait a minute, you can put your spirit up in me now.
I gotta kind of go back on that.
Go ahead.
Because you can meet a guy and he can be cool and sweet for the longest and then turn out to be different.
It's Rock 6 and 7.
Too also.
Right, he can, but that's why we tell people like in our organization, all the sisters come in, we tell them this scripture right here once he get it, because there's a process. When you're dealing with men that's like we are, we gonna be to the fact we over you to the point where we tell you, ask questions, do this, do that, because we know how men work. Remember back in the day, a man could come talk to you. He had to go where first? He had to go to your father. Because why? You can't run game with your father because all those men know men know men. Y'all don't know y'all don't know the game we push. Y'all know the game we pull, right? So when they say they go to the men, because the men here sit down and ask questions, figure it out like, nah, he ain't ready.
What to do with my daughter.
Right.
You know what, next man I come across and I say, go to my dad.
That's how he's supposed to do. Because he's supposed to figure it out, but your dad got to be right too though. Because I've seen some fathers who they ain't right. You know what I'm saying? They be like, go on girl, you gonna marry me and figure it out. Nah, that ain't the way it works. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7.
Read.
If thou wouldest get a friend,
Because remember, when you get married or get intimate with somebody, that's supposed to be your friend, not just your lover. Right? He's supposed to be a friend first. You should be able to talk to him, laugh, joke, go to the movies, tell him all your secrets, everything, because y'all gonna be living together. So y'all should be able to confide in one another and know it ain't going no further than that, because that's what y'all building, right? That's why he said, read again.
if thou wouldest get a friend,
Get a husband.
prove him first.
That means you got to take your time, ask the right questions, ask 1,000 questions. You know what I'm saying? We tell people all the time too. Make a person mad sometimes. See where they go. See how they act. See how they recover. Before you give up the goods. And you ain't gonna give up the goods until you get married. So even if you say, okay, all right, I like him. All right, now when it's time, give me. You already read that, right?
Be not his credit.
No. Well, you can give me that, but then I want to go to Deuteronomy 16.
Okay, it's 22:16.
Exodus. The one that says, oh man, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Gotta marry her.
Gotta marry her, yeah.
Yep. Exodus 20.
Yeah, finish it off.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Prove the man first, make sure he's legit. Make sure he got a job. Make sure he had that job for a minute so he shows some stability, right? Make sure he can pay his bills. Make sure he got some credit. Because remember, you're going to become his wife. You're supposed to be a helpmeet, not the provider. He's a provider. What you do is supposed to help him to help your household. So if you do get a job, that's all supposed to work together to make sure that household is straight, but he's supposed to be the head.
So you can pick up where he's at.
Correct. Pick up where he's lacking and make sure that the whole household is good. And as he being the head, he's supposed to make sure that if you do get a job, you get a job that you want, all the other kind of good stuff, because he's supposed to guide the house and you're supposed to guide the children. Right? And then whatever we got to do in this world to survive, then it goes through that way. If the mindset ain't there, then he's the wrong one. Then that's when you walk and say, okay, brother, you have a nice day. till you get your stuff together. But I ain't the one for you. You see what I'm saying? Because after you prove that, brother, after you prove him, it's not, okay, I think he good, it's been 2 years, so I'm going to give him some. No, read that.
And be not hasty to credit him.
Don't be hasty to credit him because he got a good smile, because he spent some money, right? Because he got a nice car. He can be evil as hell. That's why I said prove him first.
I be saying that.
You got to take your time. And what?
Nice shit always get a review.
Yeah.
Flashy cars, all that shit.
Yeah. And the thing is, what you got to do is like us. Once he come around to other men, we'll be able to see his spirit. That's why we congregate and come together as a people, as a body, because we want to be able to say, okay, what do we know about this brother? We coming up in this truth now, and we don't have our lineage like we used to, so we don't know people's father. Because the Bible says, you know, good name, right? Use a good name come from your father. You know, everybody say in the hood, oh, that's them the Johnsons, or them the such and such, right? But most time when they say that, they know them for what? Evil. Right? Going around the hood, fighting, selling dope, doing whatever, and everybody be like, yeah, that's them, we ain't messing with them. Bible says you're supposed to have a good name. So when you find somebody's son, you can say, okay, well, let me see what his dad is like. Because whatever his dad is like, 9 times out of 10 is what he's going to be like, because he's the one raised him. If he raised him.
That just scared me.
If he raised him. You see what I'm saying? So you'll be able to see his spirit on him because he's supposed to train him the right way. Right? Read what you got.
Exodus chapter 22 and verse 16.
Read,
and if a man entice a maid that is not...
Go ahead.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her,
and do what?
And lie with her,
Read.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Y'all better read the ring right now. So the man you was with, wicked as hell. Because the Bible says, today, whether you got to marry her.
My situation's kind of different. He wanted to marry, but I said no.
Why? Why you say no?
That's a big step, man.
Well, that's the choice you're supposed to make before you say you can have some. That should be a question. That should be like, if that's a big step, and I don't really want to be with you, then I don't think I want to produce your seed. Not saying it's wrong now, because we working through repentance now. Whatever we've done in the past, it is what it is. We got to raise our kids. You know what I'm saying? But moving forward, we want to start trying to change our mindset to what God says. That way we can start making better judgments. So if you do end up getting a stepdad for him or whatever, to help you finish out raising your kid up, you'll make sure you get somebody in righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Who's actually keeping the laws of God. That's why we tell you, make sure you read that Bible. So that way, whenever somebody talking to you, you can line up their words with God's words. If their words don't line up with God's words, it's on some BS.
What kind of Bible is that?
King James Version Bible. Bible been around for years, just never read it. That's the whole problem with us. You finished that? Give me Revelation 1 and 6. I'm gonna show you something. Our people, the thing is, we've been trained for 400 years not to read. Remember? They told us not to read. And then when we got free, some of us went and got educated and then wanted to get assimilated. I mean, we wanted to be like white folks and get white folks to accept us. Some. And then some try to preach separatism, which they try to call racial this and racial that. Why is it separatism when we just want to make sure that we have what you have? But we want to get it on our own and not ask you for it. God put it in our spirit to be able to make our own. We had Black Wall Street. They came and destroyed it. We was doing good, right? Our own food, our own land, our own barbershops, our own supermarket. Then they said, no, the blacks doing too good. Drop a bomb on them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Isn't that crazy? But then they say we racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How is that? Who we killed? Who did we kill in the name of trying to make sure our race is more superior than the others? So how are we racist? You see what I'm saying? In order to be racist, you have to have the power to enforce your ethnicity over somebody else. Right? Do we have that power? No, we're still trying to vote. We're still trying to vote in their system to make changes when they wrote the law. Are you kidding me right now? Read on. Well, the thing is, like I was saying earlier, 40 years you couldn't read. Now we're starting to read. The problem is, they showed us this Bible for so long, they had us in captivity. Now it's a spiritual thing been passed on from generation to generation to not read that book because they feel like the book says, slave, obey your master. They said that, but they didn't read all the rest of it. And we couldn't read the book. So all we had to do was go by what they said. Slave, obey your master. You're supposed to be in the field. It came out this book. Put the book down, say get back to work. Read what you got.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 3.
Read.
Blessed is he that readeth.
Blessed is what?
Blessed is he that readeth.
The Bible that we're reading from is the King James Version Bible. It's been around forever. Go to your grandma's house, it's still sitting there. Nobody reads it. They walk past it. They'll pick up Vibe magazine, they'll pick up XXL, they'll pick up Ebony or whatever magazine they get, and they read those, right, to see what the stars are doing today, but they won't read the book of the God that created you. Why wouldn't you want to know who created you? Your destiny, where you come from, what you're supposed to be doing. What you got? clicked. It clicked, didn't it? We need to know where we come from, because other than that, we don't. We have no direction.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
We used to scream Black Power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.